the European Championships, taking place in the city of Munich in the heart of Bavaria. A multi-sport competition for the second time being held across the continent as athletes assemble in Bavaria in the sports of athletics, beach volleyball, canoe sprint, cycling, rowing, sport climbing, table tennis and triathlon. But the home today for you is the European Men's Artistic Gymnastics Championships, taking place in the beautiful Olympiahalle by the side of a very busy road, and there's plenty of traffic coming up in the arena today as athletes crisscross the field of play to try to navigate safe passage to the finals. And we have a final coming up today as well. This is not just qualification, it is the men's all-around final. So let us take stock of what is in store. 3 subdivisions, the first one containing 4 teams and gymnasts from a further 7 nations. The gymnasts are making a bid for team qualification, for apparatus qualification, but this is also the individual all-around final as well. Wherever in the world you're joining the action from, welcome. It's a great pleasure to have your company. My name's Ollie Hogben, and alongside me is Blythe Lawrence to take stock of what the picture is today.
As far as the team picture is concerned, Ollie, well, we might do well to expect the unexpected. We saw a shuffling of the status quo in the women's competition, and it's very possible that we could see the same with the men. Among the individuals, several of the big-name specialists are out here in this first subdivision, particularly on the oft unpredictable pommel horse. People to keep an eye on now include Rhys McClenaghan of Ireland and Matvej Petrov of Albania, both European champions on this apparatus, as well as the Olympic silver medalist from 2008, Filip Ude of Croatia, and others. We'll get to them later.
That was an impressive summary considering how many we've got coming up, and there are more we could mention. But let's start with Team Iceland, one of 4 in this team competition in the first subdivision. Probably the most well-known to many of you will be Vali Reinhardsson, the 25-year-old who made the vault final in Glasgow in 2018. Many of those gymnasts perform well at the Nordic Championships. 2 gymnasts from Latvia. We have Dimitris Mickovic and Richard Plate. Mickovic, a pommel horse specialist, Plate an all-arounder. And there is Matvej Petrov, the European pommel horse champion, the Albanian who won the title in 2020. So that's Group 1. Now we go to Group 2. So we have the gymnasts from Slovenia who will be starting on the pommel horse. And they will be accompanied by the Irish team. Some well-known faces in the Irish team. Very excited, Rhys McClenaghan. And Dom Cunningham making his debut at international level for Ireland. They've got designs on team qualification for the World Championships, but also on individual glory. Bulgaria. One of the 4 teams going for a place in the final and a place at the World Championships. Well-known names like Jordan Alexandrov, Dimitar Dimitrov, David Huddleston. Newer names, Theodor Trifonov and Rayan Radkov. Welcome to them. On the subject of well-known names, have a look at this lineup from Croatia. Now, big group of gymnasts, but they're not going for team qualification. If you know your gymnastics, you'll know the Croatians are apparatus specialists. Tin Srbic, Olympic silver medalist on the high bar. You have the pommel horse contingent, Filip Ude, Robert Seligman, Mateo Zugets, and the floor specialist Arel Benovic, a European Championship silver medalist from 2020. Now to Poland. Just one gymnast, accompanied by a solitary gymnast from Slovakia. This is Group 4. Sebastian Gawronski will start on the vault and will go for a place in the vault final, along with all-around qualification for the World Championships. Matej Nemkovic of Slovakia also going for all-around action and a potential place at the World Championships. More on that later. The fourth and final team is Israel. Well, it's a real mixture of names in the Israel team, some very well known, such as the Olympic champion on floor, Artem Dolgopiat. Also Alexander Myakinin, a bronze medalist on the horizontal bar at the European Championships in 2020. Some less well-known names alongside them. And these are the final gymnasts. This is your sixth group, a small group, and they're from Czech Republic and Denmark. Aaron Jakobsen from Tórshavn in the Faroe Islands, and Rani Delska. And Radomir Slic of Czech Republic. He's just a pommel horse specialist, the 23-year-old. Jakobsen will be performing all of the pieces, Rani Delska just on the floor. So there they are. Wow, a lot of gymnasts to take stock of. We need a little time, I'm sure you do, to just assemble everything we've seen there. And as we look back at some of the gymnasts live, I think it's fair to say here we've got some key teams, but also some very, very key individuals, some Olympic success in this subdivision.
Anytime you have a subdivision with Artem Dolgopiat and Tin Srbic in it, you know you are in for something very exciting. Both of them have looked very sharp here in training, and provided they hit their routines, they could set the standard for everybody else on floor exercise and high bar, respectively.
Well, hopefully it all makes perfect sense now. You have your competitors. These are the gymnasts who will start on the floor and work in what is often known as the Olympic order, the standard order, if you will, of apparatus, finishing on the horizontal bar. We'll see from Iceland, Martin Gudmundsson and Valgar Reinhardsson and Jonas Thorisson do all of the pieces. For Ireland, who start on the pommel horse with Rhys McClenaghan, obviously a key performer there. They will have Dom Cunningham, Daniel Fox and Ewan McAteer doing all of the pieces. McClenaghan and Montgomery, known as apparatus specialist, Montgomery will come into play on the floor, the last performance, or the last rotation for Ireland. Now over on the still rings for Bulgaria, we'll be looking at Jordan Alexandrov and David Huddleston and Theodor Trifonov doing all of the pieces. Dimitar Dimitrov will perform 3 of the 6. Rayan Radkov, the youngest gymnast, has quite wisely only been put up for 3 pieces just to ease him into the competition. The small group of just 2 gymnasts in Group 4, Gawronski and Nemkovic, they will do all pieces. The only difference is Gawronski will be doing 2 vaults. And then we have the parallel bars as the starting point for Israel. Artem Dolgopiat will be doing all of the pieces. It will be very important in their all-around prospects, as will Uri Zaidel. So that leaves us just with the Danes and Czech Republic in Group 6, with Aaron Jakobsen the only all-around performer. Feel free to forget all of that as we now get started. Martin Gudmundsson of Iceland is the first gymnast to perform on floor. "21-year-old Martin Gudmundsson from the Aalborg municipality in the southwest of Iceland. He was in the team that came fourth at the Nordic Championships. Great athlete is young Martin Gudmundsson. The gentleman you're looking at has been a national level handball player, a lower league footballer with Selfoss in the Icelandic third tier, but his mother is a former gymnast, and sometimes you don't stray too far from the nest. Must be a lot going through the mind of a young gentleman ahead of such a big competition like this. Let's wish him the best of luck. Martin Gudmundsson of Iceland.
Opens up with a very clean handspring double front tuck. The Icelandic team is one that has been rising for the past several years. They have big ambition. So far, what he's displaying is a really concentrated effort to keep everything clean.
Yes, he's a very nice, clean gymnast, isn't he, Martin Gudmundsson?
As is said quite a lot, there's more than one way to build a big score. He's doing it through execution. Nice 2.5 twist to end.
Very well done, young Martin Gudmundsson at his second Senior European Championships. You may remember him from the Youth Olympic Games in Buenos Aires as well.
This is his opening pass. Double salto skill. That is a requirement on floor exercise for the men these days. And this a more intricate twisting pass. Front handspring, or front layout with a full twist to immediate front double full. Those kinds of twisting passes where they go one after another, we're going to see a bit less of potentially. The rules have changed a little bit, and as a result, so has the composition of some of the routines.
We'll have plenty of time, about 10 hours or so, to get into the intricacies of the code of points, and as my colleague Blythe Lawrence said, the changes have been quite interesting across the different apparatus. Changes that came into play after the last Olympic cycle ended. So we'll be moving across to the still rings in just a moment. It's Dimitar Dimitrov who is getting ready to take to the apparatus. Well known to many of you, I'm sure, from European Championships, including Glasgow 2018, the first multi-sport European Championships, where he was 7th in the vault final, and he repeated that in 2020.
So first scores, Jakobsen from Denmark on horizontal bar, 11.166 points. Theodor Trifonov for Bulgaria still rings 11.50 points.
Now we have a score for Martin Gudmundsson. We almost have a score, I should say, for Martin Gudmundsson. It's on its way.
Martin Gudmundsson mit 10,233 Punkten, 13.233 points.
Well, I can tell you the score was 13.233. Apologies that didn't come up on the screen. He had an 8.633 for execution, so well done to Martin Gudmundsson. Just a little hiatus in competition, waiting for the action to continue. We're looking now at Matej Nemkovic of Slovakia, about to vault. He's one of just 2 gymnasts in this group. We'll do our best to keep you updated on the scores across the other apparatus as well. We have a few scoring delays in the arena so far as we're getting started. It's taking a while for those first few numbers to come in.
¿Cómo estás, Qual?
13.233 for Goodmanson. Now back to Nemkovic.
Relatively easy Sukahara with a full twist. Cleanly performed. The judges might be looking for a bit more amplitude coming off of the table. But he does get through clean, minimal deductions on the landing.
Well, there is the 18-year-old from Bratislava making his European Championship debut at any level. So I think a wisdom in choosing a relatively simple vault that he can perform with relative cleanliness. Certainly from a tidiness point of view in the air, some clear deductions, the toe point not particularly strong, but it's a 12.966 for Matej Nemkovic, and you have to always commend any young athlete who goes cleanly through their first performance at European Championships. That's not a given by any stretch of the imagination.
No, and being just 18 in a group with one other gymnast who is not from the same country as he is.
Now we're looking at Jordan Alexandrov of Bulgaria. 26-year-old from Russe in the northeast of the country. And he's very experienced. This is his 8th European Championships. Those of you who watched the 2020 competition will remember him making the horizontal bar final. The young man is a graduate in media studies from the University of California, Berkeley, where he was a collegiate horizontal bar champion.
Rather unusual V-sit to start off with. One thing he's trying to make sure of is that all of these strength elements are held for at least 2 seconds. Otherwise, there will be a deduction. And in addition to that, the gymnast can't pause very long between strength elements either. If there's more than 2 seconds of pause, that too is a deduction. 1.5 twisting, double tuck dismount, clean start for Jordan Alexandrov.
Bulgaria's Jordan Alexandrov, another with a great gymnastics background in the family. We'll talk more about that later, I'm sure.
Lovely swinging sequence. Jonason in the Yamawaki.
Now it is Israel that are on the parallel bars at the moment. We must watch Artem Dolgopiat, the reigning Olympic champion on floor and the European champion on floor from 2020, but an important member of the team from an all-around perspective here. Israel going for a place in the team final and a place at the World Championships.
He is best known for his work on floor exercise and also vault, of course, but he's a fine all-around gymnast. Lovely Healy, front spin, Stutz. He's controlling things, and you made an excellent point, Ollie, in that the Israelis will be counting on this score. Double front half twist, lovely.
They can count on it, certainly, and they can count on him, and they've always been able to. If the team comes over to congratulate Artem Dolgopiat, and Pavel Gulidov gets ready to take to the apparatus, one suspects that Gulidov will feel nice and relaxed. That is very much not Jordan Alexandrov, who scored 13.166 on the still rings. I'm sure you know who this gentleman is, because at Glasgow in 2018 he won the European Championship title. We'll come back to him in a moment as we go now to David Huddleston of Bulgaria. Young man born in The Hague, Olympian from Tokyo.
Like Jordan Alexandrov, one of the pillars of the Bulgarian team. Nice position on the Maltese. Potentially a question as to whether he held that long enough. But he's got a really good look for still rings. Beautiful toe point, extended body line. Very smooth swing to handstand. Kicks into a nice double twisting, double tuck. Just a small step back.
Bulgaria's David Huddleston. A gentleman who's lived all over the world, travelled all over the world in his excellent elite-level gymnastics career. The first time we've seen him competing internationally this year, so nice to see him back. Once again, confirmation of that 13.166 for Jordan Alexandrov. His teammate David Huddleston having just performed as well. Huge congratulations to him on his engagement to Erika Zafirova after the Olympic Games. And huge congratulations to her on her illustrious career. 13.833 to Artem Dolgopiat. That's the young man who supported his partner as she won rhythmic gymnastics gold for Bulgaria. She supported him as he qualified. Now we go to the vault.
Sebastian Goronsky of Poland attempting a very difficult Sukahara double pike and very nearly doing it very well. Unfortunately, of course, the fall just landed a little too far back. Had to lunge to the side, puts his hands down. That will be a point deduction. It's a shame because it was a beautiful vault. This is the handspring double front rocher. Once again, very compressed on the landing. Doesn't get the best push off of the table. And of course that translates into under rotation and the significant step back.
13.266, the score for Sebastian Gawronski, 26-year-old from Katowice. Now we're back over on the floor exercise where Iceland are getting their campaign underway. Valgard Reinhardsson just taking a moment. 25-year-old who grew up in the beautiful city of Reykjavik. Truly one of the most stunning cities of Europe. It's 13.133 for David Huddleston on the still rings. Just a fraction lower than his teammate Jordan Alexandrov. Now we go to Vali Reinhardsson, the Nordic champion on floor. Good to have a chance to see this very experienced gymnast do something he generally does very well.
Running front double pike. Questionable whether he put a toe over the line. That would be 1/10 of a point if he did, but the line is in. Right before this routine, we saw him actually sitting on the side of the floor mat, and it might be a small gains thing, potentially, resting his legs before he goes up, just to be able to have that little extra during this routine. 2.5 to front layout. He does get connection bonus for that. Although if the front layout were done with a twist, he would not actually get the connection bonus. That's been one of the changes. And a triple full to end.
Vali Reinhardsson of Iceland, who made the vault final at the first European Multisport Championships in 2018, 16 years after his compatriot Runa Alexandersson made the pommel horse final. It's a great moment for Icelandic gymnastics. And we are seeing, aren't we, Blythe, across men's and women's competition, real aspiration in the Icelandic delegations to start to feature in team competitions and be competitive.
That we are. Sometimes they don't have the difficulty of other teams, but they are doing very smart, very clean gymnastics, and that's been really lovely to see.
And ultimately what you want to see is people doing very clean gymnastics and building their difficulty safely, rather than unclean, difficult gymnastics which borders on dangerous gymnastics.
And no matter what you're building towards, whether it's the World Championships or the Olympic Games, this is a starting point. We are still 2 years out from Paris 2024, and gymnasts with the new code of points, they are perhaps still in that experimental phase and being very careful about things.
Now we're using the split warm-up format, and it's in this second half of the rotation that the gymnasts from Ireland are going to take to the pommel horse, and that obviously will mean the eyes of the gymnastics world will be on Rhys McClenaghan. For the moment they're on young Ewan McAteer. Rhys McClenaghan, Ewan McAteer and Eamon Montgomery all competed for Northern Ireland at the Commonwealth Games recently, and we have to say a huge congratulations to the Northern Ireland men's team, which managed for the first time in Commonwealth Games history to have 3 gymnasts in finals. That was a great accomplishment for them, and it does show the depth of gymnastic skill that is emerging in that country. 13.433 is the score for Valgard Reinhardsson, the Nordic champion on floor. Just saw, didn't we, there, Rhys McClenaghan going through his final warm-up. Very exciting Irish squad, actually.
Very much so. And for the first time, really, we've been seeing them, gymnasts like Eamon Montgomery, not just Rhys McClenaghan, qualifying for World Cup finals, winning medals.
And now they have the acquisition of Dominic Cunningham as well in their squad. And I mean, that is an acquisition. That's a serious power to get to add to your team.
What they were missing was a man who could make a significant mark in the all-around. In Dom Cunningham, they get that.
Now let's have a look at Richard Splate of Latvia. The 19-year-old will be performing on floor. 19-year-old is from the coastal city of Jurmala, coached by a gentleman who was pretty good on floor, Igor Virovs, Olympic champion from 2000. I'm sure many of you remember him well. He's got a fine attitude as this young man. Hard worker. Here he goes.
Daniel Fox.
Light and easy double front in the tuck position to begin. Once again, we're looking at a gymnast who was quite recently in the junior ranks, did very well there, and is now making the transition. Testing things out as a senior, not doing too much, not overexerting himself. Just making sure that what he does present is clean and tidy. Double twist to end. Actually 2.5 to end.
I think that's a case in point, isn't it? As you say, he's just quietly getting better and better and adding a little more to his gymnastics each time we see him. Quietly improving, constantly. Richard Splate of Latvia.
All of his basics, including this sequence on floor. Very nice. Mechanics are quite good. All that he lacks is some difficulty, and that will come with time.
For a gymnast like him, the real focus here is on what this could lead to at the World Championships, because we have 13 teams trying to qualify for a place at the World Championships. This is their big day in terms of World Championship action. There'll be teams that miss out on the final that will be thrilled because they've still made it to the World Championships. After that, we then have 23 all-around spots from gymnasts outside of those teams up for grabs. On the subject of all-around, we look at Ewan McAteer of Ireland, 23-year-old from Lisbon. He's a gymnast who's supported by the Mary Peters Trust. It gives him good access to elite level training, to sports psychology, to nutrition. As we get a score of 12.7 for Richard Splate. But yes, back to Ewan McAteer. It feels right that we talk about the Mary Peters Trust, because now 83, Mary Peters was a pentathlon Olympic champion for Great Britain. And where was that? In this city, in Munich in 1972. So somebody who had the finest moments of their career in this very city has just helped support a young man to get to a massive moment in his career.
Still waiting for the score.
And he's a very accomplished young man, Ewan McAteer, a fifth-year undergraduate in dentistry at the prestigious Queen's University in Belfast.
Ein Applaus für den zweiten irischen Turner jetzt am Pausenfeld.
And so to Ewan McAteer of Ireland on the pommel horse.
Moving quite well so far. Very slight struggle in the handstand pirouette up through the dismount, but a very strong start for Ireland on pommel horse.
Yes, before that, Daniel Fox scored 12.8. There is the opportunity to discard a score in team qualification that does not exist in the final. And this is a look back at Ewan McAteer on the pommel horse, quite close to the pommels, A couple of brushes here and there. He did lose his leg form very slightly, but got it back together pretty rapidly and had to show a real degree of core strength to pull through that dismount.
But in terms of keeping his rhythm going, the flow, apart from the dismount, this was very good. It's not going to have anywhere near the difficulty that we are going to see from Rhys McClenaghan, but for Ireland on pommel horse, this is very good for where they are at as a team right now. This bodes well.
I think that's well put, Blythe. It's a very exciting time for Irish gymnastics. It has been in women's competition too. Not easy to start your team qualification process on the pommel horse as well. Well, a lot of excitement over this next performance. It's 11.733 for Ewan McAteer. As you alluded to, Blythe, not a huge degree of difficulty, but a well-performed routine. So, to the European champion from Glasgow 2018, World Championship medalist, a Commonwealth champion, and silver medalist at the most recent Games.
Beautiful scissors to handstand to start. Excellent work on one pommel, Russian Venda swings on that single pommel and circling. Ideally, there would be no bending in the hips on these circles, but this is still very good. And that is very difficult, the Venda swings between the pommels. Notice his legs splitting. Judges will deduct something for every 360 degrees that he splits his legs through the dismount. It wasn't perfect, but it was very good.
That was a strong display from Rhys McClenaghan of Ireland. He's had some issues with that leg separation recently, including at the Commonwealth Games, but he's always fought his way through it. He has a lovely, elegant style on the apparatus.
Such a smooth worker of the pommel horse. Yes, there was that leg separation, which a lot of gymnasts are plagued by that. Actually makes the move even harder to control when that happens. This was one of the highlights of the routine, the Venda swings between the pommels, smooth dismount, handstand pirouettes.
It's going to be a huge score for Ireland in terms of their team prospects, really important. And he's a real team performer, Rhys McClenaghan, as well. He's, yes, obviously aspiring to individual success, but he is somebody who really lives for the team too and wants Irish gymnastics to prosper. And you have to feel, really, that what this young man accomplished at the Commonwealth Games, the silver medal, against the backdrop of a not very well-handled situation where he initially thought he and his teammates would not be able to compete. That was very difficult for the Northern Irish gymnasts. It was resolved, but cost them, I think, quite a lot of anxiety.
Exactly as you say. In terms of psychological preparation, when you're going to the gym every day and you're thinking, am I going to compete? Am I not going to be able to compete? It adds so much stress to your preparation, doesn't it?
The number is 14.2 for Rhys McClenaghan, a 5.9 for difficulty. Now we move to Dominic Cunningham of Ireland, formerly of Great Britain, his international debut now for Ireland, and we wish him well as he bids for World Championship qualification and for team success.
Keeping his composure.
Yes, well done, Dom Cunningham, starting on the pommel horse. If there's anywhere that Dom Cunningham does not wish to begin a campaign, it's on the pommel horse. He's always joked that it's not his ideal apparatus. He's got very big shoulders as Dom Cunningham, and can be quite a tricky apparatus for him. What a good start.
And now he is through, and he can look forward to the events where he is more of a specialist. Vault coming up and floor exercise later. But for the Irish team, this is quite a start on the pommel horse.
It's just good to see Dom Cunningham in an international competition. He's one of those gymnasts that the team really loves. He's a very good-humoured individual. He's good fun. He lifts the atmosphere. And he's a hard worker too. So difficult for him preparing for the Olympic Games. He was at one point having to train in a stable in Walsall in the Midlands because of a lack of facilities during the pandemic. So what sort of number for Dom Cunningham of Ireland? Many people waving at him as he waves to them. He's just done a super job entertaining the crowd at the Commonwealth Games, where I had the privilege of working alongside him. He was the yeah, he did that to the crowd every single day. He was the arena host for the artistic gymnastics, along with Danusha Francis, and the crowd absolutely adored him because he's Birmingham's own. 11.733 for Dom Cunningham. This is what we know so far. Very little, but the emerging picture is one where Artem Dolgopiat is performing well on the parallel bars. So well done to Vali Reinhardsson of Iceland on floor. And Sebastian Gavronski, 13.266 for vault. But this is a very early stage to be looking at this information. Not only is it the first rotation, but we have 3 subdivisions as well to come. Welcome to those of you who are just joining the coverage. And it's great to have you with us, wherever in the world you're watching from, whatever time of day or night. Iceland have been competing on the floor. They're actually now moving on to pommel horse. There they are. Very important rotation, this one for pommel horse, because we have Matvej Petrov of Albania, the European champion in 2020, the first Albanian ever to win a medal at the European Championships of Gymnastics. So we look forward to seeing him perform. We also have Dimitris Mickovic, a pommel horse specialist from Latvia. Ireland head to the still rings, where Dom Cunningham will be of use to them, real use to them. Bulgaria will be vaulting. Dimitar Dimitrov, a gentleman with aspirations on a place in the vault final. It would be his 3rd European Championship vault final if he can do that. Israel with Uri Zaidel, the first to go on the horizontal bar. Well, this is a big moment for a young athlete, a 20-year-old who's making his European Championship debut at any level. Israel's Uri Zaidel.
Warms up this routine with a solid Kacha. Variation of a giant, one of the most crowd-pleasing elements on the horizontal bar, in addition to the high-flying release skills. Full twisting double layout. Oh, that's a shame.
Most regrettable for Uri Zaidel of Israel. Did travel quite far away from the apparatus as he released. Compressed landing and will unfortunately take a full mark reduction.
There was a sense of tentativeness throughout this routine. The Kachev was lovely, but on the dismount, he potentially tried to be a bit too perfect. Really went for the stuck landing, which is totally commendable. But sometimes when you do that, if you cast out too far, he doesn't get a whole lot of height above the bar. In fact, his body is really never above the bar, which is not a great sign when you're going for a good landing. More distance than height, and as a result, the fall.
Big moment for a very young gymnast. Recent addition to the Israeli senior team. So it is the Bulgarians vaulting. Theodor Trifonov, we've just seen.
They are.
Trifonov, gymnast with a score of 13.266, takes a 0.3 penalty. He is a gymnast who we've seen at World Cup level in some vault finals, including in Varna earlier this year in his home country. But a senior European Championship debut for him. Now, on the floor exercise, Denmark has a real floor specialist about to perform, as we see 12.033 for Uri Zaidel. Well, how impressive the Faroe Islands team was at the Nordic Championships recently. So impressive that the two Danish gymnasts that have come to these championships are Faroe Islanders. One of them is Rani Delskar, who was 5th on floor at the Nordic Championships, and the Faroe Island team beat the Danish team. He represents the Havnar Fimle Kefalag club in Tórshavn, the capital of the Faroe Islands. Thor's harbour is what Tórshavn means. It's a beautiful settlement of 14,000 on the island of Streymoy, the largest of the Faroe Islands. And that's his story, but we're not going to see him. We're now heading over to the pommel horse and Jonas Thorisson.
Once again, a routine that does not have a huge component of difficulty, but it's so nice to see the Icelandic team just doing what they do and doing it, getting through cleanly.
And you know what? We saw in the women's competition, some of the favoured teams struggled later on in the competition. There were some very big surprises, actually, in terms of the overall women's qualification picture, and consequently get through cleanly. You just never really know what might happen later on, as we now have the chance to enjoy the work of Rani Delskar, floor specialist, who competed at the last European Championships.
Rather unusual, starting with a side pass, a double front tuck, and unfortunately overcooking it. Both of his feet go out of bounds. That will be 0.3 of a point penalty. 2.5 twist to front layout. Much more secure landing on that pass. Plants his feet well, and a double full side pass. just 23, he has huge potential to do great things for Denmark and for the Faroe Islands as he continues to represent them.
Yes, they will have aspirations at competitions like the Island Games and so on. The Northern European Championships. Rani Dalsgaard of Denmark. And we have to acknowledge perhaps that Tórshavn in the Faroe Islands might be the most overrepresented city in the whole of these European Championships, with its population of 2,000 comprising 100% of the Danish men's team. Well done to whatever is going on in Tórshavn in terms of the training at the moment that is producing these very nice gymnasts to watch. Now, on the subject of very nice gymnasts to watch, Artem Dolgopiat, who started with 13.833 on the parallel bars.
Kachev, his feet looked like they almost scraped the bar. Maybe they did. Straddle Kachev. Excellent Stalder work. He has great flexibility in his shoulders, as you can see in the inverted giants. Dismount, double twisting, double layout.
Many of you will know him as a floor specialist, but he is the reigning Israeli all-around champion, and he's going to be very important to their team prospects.
He just has tremendous versatility as a gymnast. He's powerful and he's flexible in bar elements.
10.7 the score for Jonas Thoresen on the pommel horse. Just going about being gently and quietly solid, the Icelandic team, I think it's fair to say. Now let's catch up with Bulgaria as they vault and look to build a healthy score. That was a tidy piece of vaulting. Look at David Huddleston.
Kasamatsu, Sukahara style vault with 1.5 twists. He does step over the tram lines, 1/10 of a point for 1 foot going over on that, but nice body position, clean twist in the air. It looked very good. .7 is the score for Rani Dalsgaard. And it's 12.833 for Artem Dolgopiat. We stay with Israel on the horizontal bar because of the importance of this next gymnast, Alexander Miakinin, bronze medalist on this apparatus at the 2020 European Championships, where he practically roared the building down when the score came in. He was thrilled, as he should have been. It's a great accomplishment. This is his apparatus. Takamoto full to begin. Winding up. Very nice Cassina, full twisting double layout, catches the bar. Does it again, the tuck position. Into a Gaylord 2.
Oh my goodness.
No! You never know in gymnastics. Sometimes a gymnast gets through all of his difficulty cleanly and then seems to lose his concentration and make an error like that.
It's a very nice finish, and on the whole, a very nice routine from Alexander Miakinin, but oh, how unfortunate. After all of that difficulty, that spectacular looking Gaylord 2, which is a rare skill to see and is so beautifully performed by him. Then afterwards, it just went for a moment.
It's a Takamoto with half turn. The gymnast does have to shoot their feet toward the ceiling at just the right moment, or else that's what happens. Now, he will lose several tenths in execution deductions, also for elements not continuing in the intended direction, him going forward when he wanted to continue backwards. There will be a 3/10 of a point penalty.
Well, it will be interesting to see what that means for horizontal bar qualification. A gymnast with great aspirations, the 27-year-old, of being in that horizontal bar final. He won the title at the World Cup in Doha earlier this season. A bronze here in Cottbus to start the season off at the World Cup level, and a bronze in Cairo. So he's been performing very tidily on this piece. From one apparatus specialist to another. We'll soon be seeing Matvey Petrov just going through his warm-up at the moment. The sole Albanian gymnast here. He's used to being the sole Albanian gymnast. He was 10th at the Olympic Games. And as I mentioned earlier, Dimitris Mickiewicz will also be appearing for the first and only time on this apparatus. Richard Plate will continue to perform as he's going for an all-around spot. So now we bring Ireland into play on the still rings. 13.4 for Alexander Miakinin. Suspects he's going to need a little assistance from some other competitors to really be in horizontal bar final contention. A good start from Ireland on pommel horse. Ewan McAteer now takes the still rings. Started with 11.733 on the pommel horse.
Ireland chasing a qualification spot to the World Championships. They want to be among the top 13 teams today. Rather large arch in his back as he struggles to hold that handstand, but he's winning this battle. There is a deduction, as mentioned before, however, for hesitating too long before connecting it into his dismount.
But what remarkable composure and fight there from young Ewan McAteer. Just looked as though there was a danger that he was going to overbalance, but he really did work against gravity.
It's a good example of the kind of gymnastics that we have been seeing from Ireland so far. It is tenacious. It is even audacious, perhaps. They are fighting very hard not to make mistakes, and so far they aren't. Not big ones.
There is quite extraordinary desire, isn't there, in this Irish team to really push for a World Championship qualification spot. Sometimes, as any elite athlete will say, to desire can make your body do things that you didn't know it was capable of doing.
Yes, when you look at them up on the podium, you can feel the passion, can't you?
.933 for Ewan McAteer. And when you're not an expert on a particular piece, really the ability actually to minimize those deductions, just to save yourself a few tenths here and there, is what can make the difference between World Championship qualification and not. So Dom Cunningham has got through the pommel horse without too many issues. Now he heads to the still rings, a piece upon which he is very confident. 27-year-old underway.
This is a much stronger apparatus for him than pommel horse. He potentially will feel quite relieved at getting pommel horse out of the way, and for him having what is quite a good score there. Gymnasts have to show at least one swing to handstand hold in every routine on still rings. Most show several. Full twisting double layout.
Nicely done from Dom Cunningham of Ireland. First international competition for Ireland.
Just dismount.
Certain confidence to the way he performs on this piece.
Yes, and a lot of concentration too. You can see the mastery he has over these elements, and once you earn that, it's just about minimizing errors. This was a very focused performance from Dom.
He's a gentleman who's given many a focused performance of late. Albania's Matvej Petrov, European champion on pommel horse 2 years ago. The first ever Albanian to win a medal at the European Championships.
Really enjoying a second wind to his career, posting great results. And that element, the sewn, it gave him trouble in warm-ups as well. So perhaps it's not a huge surprise to see him come off on that. The other question with him, and it's always a question, is the endurance. There is so much going on in this routine. It can be tough for him to get through in the later stages. That said, when things go well, it's just beautiful.
There's an example. Isn't that just exquisite?
Lovely. Flares up to handstand. The Busnari, invented by Italian Alberto Busnari.
Oh, and he's clunked the apparatus again and come off for a second time. Matvej Petrov is seeing his chances of making the pommel horse final disappear. And it's a great shame because he's been a very strong performer of late.
Actually, his left hand slipped as he placed it on the horse for one of those flares. And after that, the fall was just imminent.
He's been getting better and better this season. After 8th place in Cottbus at the beginning of the year. He gets through it, but it is not classic Matvej Petrov, regrettably. The 32-year-old nonetheless will always have that European Championship title to remind fans of him at his best. As you said, a second win. This was somebody who'd retired from the sport, moved to Prague to become a coach, and the owner of his gym was an Albanian with a very good idea. 12.966 for Dom Cunningham. The next gymnast to take to the still rings has got an absolutely extraordinary story. This is Daniel Fox of Ireland, and we cannot believe that he's back here doing this. It's wonderful. This is a gymnast who retired from competitive gymnastics after the European Championships of 2016, where he made his debut at European Championship level. And during the pandemic, he'd been working as a teacher and a gymnastics coach. He started teaching remotely, moved back to Ireland from England, thought, do you know what, I fancy going to the gym. He went to the gym, he said to himself, what on earth am I doing? Why did I stop this? Decided to make a comeback. And 4 months after he came back, he won the Northern European Championship on the still rings. It's extraordinary that he's back. He took an all-around silver medal at the National Championships in May.
Some very nice work in this still rings routine, particularly on the dismount. Some of his strength positions are a little bit high, you might say. His shoulders in that iron cross, for example, a little bit above ideally what the position would be. But once again, for Ireland, they are doing everything possible to get that team qualification spot.
It is nothing short of a personal triumph that this gentleman is back at elite level. And his score is 13.733. Very important score that for the Irish on the still rigs. Daniel Fox. 11.9 for Matvej Petrov. And we carry on with a look at Group 1 on the pommel horse, and the young gymnast from Latvia, Richards Plate.
Be ready for the rotation. Going to the next apparatus.
Very nice amplitude in his circles, his clearance above the horse, the hip height, very nice.
Shame that he's lost control and has the unintentional dismount to contend with. Gymnast 2 is hoping to pick up one of those World Championship all-around berths.
Smooth Magyar Shavado, the Vendiswings. Quite a simple dismount.
Latvia's Richards Plate. We're starting to see more and more World Cup level as well now.
Und wir sehen, dass Israel erst im zweiten Teil dieser Rotation jetzt gleich.
He started with a 12.7 on floor. And we're drawing to a close in this second rotation, so an opportunity soon to give you an update. How's about that for two gymnasts at very different stages of their careers? Nice moment to have a little chat with Matvej Petrov and to benefit from his wisdom. And Petrov will be the first to say to him, yeah, we've all come off the pommel horse I just did a few minutes ago.
And yes, there was the fall, but his basics are very good. And once again, he is a gymnast with great potential on this apparatus.
Now, Israel head to the floor exercise where they have somebody who's pretty tasty on this. Reigning Olympic champion coming up in a moment for your entertainment, Artem Dolgopiat. And for the entertainment value for Israel of looking at the scoreboard as well, one suspects. He's looked sharp, hasn't he, as the season's gone on, Dolgopiat, after a little break. 11.366 for Plate. So that means we can now take a look at the bigger picture, literally and metaphorically. The men's all-around is being led by Huddleston and Alexandrov from Bulgaria, Artem Dolgopiat in third position. Daniel Fox of Ireland in fourth place so far. Superb from him. We look down the order, top 10 being completed by Dom Cunningham as things stand, but it's only the 1/3 mark for all of these men.
Wonder time is over now.
Just tell you from a team perspective as well, it's Bulgaria over Israel and then Ireland. And Iceland in fourth place, but we'll come back to that a little later. So, representing Poland on the horizontal bar, Sebastian Gawronski. Very regular national all-around champion, the 26-year-old. This is his fourth European Championships. He competed at Glasgow in 2018. Shown himself to be very consistent in finals.
Oh, but trouble on the Takemoto half to begin with. Just a bending of the body, loss of leg form. Clean in the Kachevs, however. Hop full through to Giants. Taps into a double twisting double layout, and once again doesn't have the amplitude to complete the twist, spot the ground, and go for a really good landing.
Well, those of you who've been watching Sebastian Gawronski at World Cups will know that on the whole, what he produces in the final is what he produced in qualifications. This was an unfortunate moment.
There might have been some trouble with his left grip getting it around the bar, though that is hard to say. Smooth in the Kachevs. And then let's have another look at the dismount. He wraps both of the twists into the second salto. Makes it harder to land if you don't have a really good tap swing out. Gets you into the air. And yes, that will likely cost him a point for putting his hand down. It can be questionable if there's a brush or touch or hit of a hand on the floor. That might be just 0.3, but that one looked like it was 1.0.
Now Israel's Uri Zeidel is on the floor.
And a very impressive first tumbling pass. Cat-like landing. Arabian double front, second pass. Starts off with 3 diagonals, and then he has to do a side pass or he will incur a composition deduction. That's one of the slight changes to the code of points on floor exercise. The mana position for his strength hold. That's an example of a non-acrobatic element, as they call it on floor. The gymnast has to do at least one. Sticks the 1.5 to front layout full. So far, this is quite good. Triple full to end.
Well done to the youngster Uri Zeidel of Israel. Yeah, he looks very pleased with that display. He made the floor final at the Copa World Cup earlier this year. It's one of his stronger pieces.
This was a very polished, almost understated floor exercise routine because he doesn't quite charge into his tumbling passes. He's very soft. And yet great air time and really cat-like reflexes on the landings.
And the score, 13.766 for Uri Zeidel.
Quality work.
It's a very nice display, that, isn't it, from Uri Zeidel?
Very nice.
Certainly comfortable on that piece. .166 for Sebastian Gawronski on the horizontal bar. We have to come in the second half. Ireland will be on vault. Now we continue in the pommel horse. Radomir Schlisch of Czech Republic.
Showing some very nice work. The Son Magyar Shavado. Then to swings. Can only do that twice in a routine. Lacking a really complex handstand pirouetting dismount, but everything up until then was really nice.
Yes, very much a specialist on this piece. He was 12th at the Cottbus World Cup in Germany at the start of the year. Undergraduate in teaching at the University of Ostrava, and his score 12.9. 23-year-old, he's got a nice style on that apparatus. They'll all be watching, not just in Denmark, but in the Faroe Islands in Tórshavn, glued to their screens, enjoying the performance of their pair of 23-year-olds. David Huddleston on the parallel bars. Nice performer on this piece. He's a nice performer on all pieces. Very fluid gymnast.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Olympic champion on floor.
Smooth Makoutz. Oh, you're right, Ollie. There is a fluidity and a grace to what he does. With skill, a Tippelt, named after Sven Tippelt. And uprise double front in the tuck position.
Very good day so far for Bulgaria. Impressive in the team competition. David Huddleston performing with calmness, as we often see from him.
There was plenty of difficulty in this routine, but what really stood out was the gorgeous execution.
He's elegant, isn't he?
He's had fluidity, precision, amplitude, beauty, the way that he completed each of these elements. It really stands out.
On the subject of things that tend to stand out, the reigning Olympic champion Artem Dolgopiat on floor. Yeah, that'll do.
Double twisting, double layout to open. One of the harder passes on men's floor exercise, and doesn't he make it look easy? The same with that, just floats through the front layout after the front double twist. 2.5 through to double front tuck. That's a new pass for him, and it looks like he does step out of bounds, maybe with both feet. That would be a 0.3 penalty. But he's so clean in general, and there is so much difficulty in this routine that even with that mistake, it still looks like he's on track to make the floor final. Double twisting, double tuck, and just no deductions on the landing there.
Du recht, da hast du die Bodenfläche einmal komplett verlassen. Das wird dann 0,3 im E-Wert Abzug, im neutralen Abzug geben.
He has several versions of this routine and several tumbling passes that he can call upon as needed. This is not the hardest version of this routine, but it's hard enough. Arabian double front half out, once again, phenomenal landing. That is one of the reasons why he is the Olympic champion.
Very interesting. At the start of the season, he was, we'll come back to that in a moment, as David Huddleston scores a big 14.333 on the parallel bars. That really will enhance his all-around credentials. But as we were saying, in the Cottbus World Cup, he looked like a man who'd taken a break after the Olympics, as he was quite entitled to do and rest. Since then, he's won it all, the Doha World Cup, the Cairo World Cup, and the Baku World Cup, with this sort of tumbling. And as you said, Blythe, yes, he clearly seemed to move out of bounds on one of the passes, but he's got a lot of other highly strong execution and a lot of difficulty.
What capability to land, just like a dart.
For him, it's really a matter of just getting into the final, and then he can pull out the more difficult routine. And it's been so clear watching him over the years that he's somebody who rises to a final. The European Championship title for him in 2020 was a key precursor to winning that gold medal in Tokyo. He isn't moving too comfortably, is he?
No, he certainly is not. Gave no appearance that anything was wrong on floor exercise, but how often do we see that in gymnastics? Adrenaline can do wonderful things for blocking out pain. And he is a bit taped up. He has had some injury woes in the past.
You make a very interesting point about adrenaline doing wonderful things for blocking out pain, and that can often be a problem, can't it, for an athlete? Because the ability and necessity of listening to the body when it tells you it's in pain, he's got to override that. 14.266, a 6.1 difficult. He does have a 0.3 penalty, as we expected, for going quite heftily out of bounds. Jordan Alexandrov, another very fine performer on the parallel bars, World Cup finalist regularly.
Oh, and that is a big problem. Once again, when it comes to shooting the toes to the ceiling, in order to get back up into handstand, the timing has to be impeccable. And when it's not, it very evidently causes problems. So, in addition to the fall, he is also going to have execution deductions, and he likely will not get the credit for the difficulty of the element that he was attempting because he didn't complete it.
Just to remind you that a score can be discarded from each apparatus in the qualification process as long as you're putting 4 gymnasts up. Well, as is always the case with Jordan Alexandrov, there's a lot on there that is very nicely executed, but it isn't the sort of routine we're used to seeing from him, regrettably.
The difficulty tariff is quite high. He's got a great variety of elements.
The score just came in, 12.2.
This would dismount, double front tuck.
So it is David Huddleston who is leading the all-around at the moment. The pace setter, Artem Dolgopiad in second place. Jordan Alexandrov a little further down now as a result, with Uri Seidel up and looking impressive. We still have some way to go because it's just an intermediary look at the all-around in this rotation. This is Richard Plate of Latvia on the still rings.
Kip and roll into his Yamawaki-Jonassen combination. Followed by a press into handstand and a front giant. Giant through to full twisting double tuck, well controlled.
Well, he's shown great promise and increasing promise, Richard Platte. Many of you, I'm sure, will remember him from the European Championships at junior level in 2020, where he nearly picked up a horizontal bar medal. Now, this is Ireland on vault, a chance for them to make up some of the ground over the Bulgarian team, and Ewan McAteer, a specialist on this piece.
Very nice Kasamatsu with 1.5 twists. Gets good block or push off the table, sets him up to go for the 2.5 twist that he needs to complete the vault.
Ewan McAteer, the reigning Northern European champion on vault. His performance there at the Northern European Championships in Cardiff in November, there is a suggestion it was the best ever vaulting score by a gymnast from Northern Ireland. 14.566 to begin. That is a lovely score. That's the team score. Now, with another complex vault, he looks for a place in the vault final. He had problems with his second vault at the Commonwealth Games.
This should be very different.
Oh, such a shame for Ewan McAteer. He's almost there, isn't he? He really is almost there. Very nice vaulter.
Great explosive power off the table. The height that he gets is tremendous. Unfortunately, when you have so much height and so much power, it can be difficult to control the landing. That was the case in this instance.
I mean, it's evident, isn't it, in this Roche vault that he has such extraordinary power that he's over-cooking it and over-rotating it. You get the sense he could just keep on going in mid-air. One might make the point that if it's going to go wrong, that's a positive way for it to go wrong. It shows what power he's got. 13.166 for Ewan McAteer. And that's a 13.866 for vault qualification. Now, on the subject of vault qualification, Dom Cunningham. Yeah, he's always been a fine vaulter.
That was a Yurchenko with 2.5 twists. The Yurchenko, of course, the round-off entry, back handspring onto the table. Gets good block. Cranks around the 2.5 twists, ever so slight under rotation that results in the small step back. But this was a very nice start, no question about it.
He's been one of the finest in the world on vaults, making World Championship final. It will score well, this. .466 for Richard Platte. .466 for the first vault. This is now for vault qualification. A good case made by Dom Cunningham, and a most important score for the Irish team to add to the 14.566 from Ewan McAteer.
This was a Kasamatsu with a full twist. Gymnasts attempting to qualify for the vault final have to show different entry positions to their 2 vaults. Plenty of time in the air to spot the landing, and once again, just the smallest of hops. That'll cost him 1/10 of a point in execution. Very nice display from Dom Cunningham overall on vault.
You will find fewer people who are as good at picking themselves up after disappointment as Dom Cunningham. He's a real inspirational figure to any young gymnast. 13.866 for the second vault. 14.166 in terms of overall vault qualification. Can tell you as well that Daniel Fox scored a 13.2. And that's how he went about doing exactly that.
This is a Sukahara with a full twist. It does not have the difficulty that we saw from the other Irish gymnasts on vault, indeed only 4.0, but good execution, a very respectable score.
So Ewan McAteer and Dom Cunningham and Daniel Fox have all moved up the standings. Fox in third place at the moment, with Cunningham around half a mark behind him. That's it. I'm just going to keep going on about it, but look who's above Daniel Fox. Just by 1 place and about 1 mark, Artem Dolgopiat. Daniel Fox, a gymnast who retired after the 2016 European Championships. If you're watching this as a young athlete and you've taken some time away from the sport and you're weighing up your options, let Daniel Fox be a guiding light to you that you can come back and you can do this.
It is never too late. Never.
So, und jetzt sind auch die Kroaten zurück im zweiten Teil dieser 4. Rotation.
We've talked about it throughout the women's competition. Blythe, you're somebody who thought you'd done your last bit of competitive gymnastics when you were a teenager, and you had a renaissance, didn't you, competing in Switzerland in group gymnastics in your 30s as well?
And it doesn't have to be an individual artistic gymnastics. There are so many iterations of gymnastics. There's team gym, which gets you in a group of people and you really get excited about the things that you do. There's so much to try. There are so many communities of gymnasts. And if you want to do it at a lower level, if you want to try it again at a higher level, there are paths to that, yes.
Now, on the subject of team gym, what about the team competition? Bulgaria leading the way at the halfway mark of their subdivision, 120.363. Ireland have moved up ahead of Israel, and that's very impressive. They're on 119.597, so a gap of around 3/4 of a mark behind the Bulgarians. A key order of business for anyone here is win your subdivision. When you're early on, just try to win the subdivision and you're in with a shot at World Championship qualification. We move then to the 4th of 6 rotations and a litmus test for Israel as they move to the pommel horse. Israel are yet to vault. They will finish on vault, and they have got capable vaulters. We look at Uri Zaidel, a gymnast who was in the top 4 at the halfway mark, all-around qualification. Let's see what he can do on this piece.
He showed an extremely promising routine on the floor exercise. And there's a lightness to him, a quickness that bodes well on this apparatus too.
Isn't there just... There's a lot to enjoy about this impressive youngster, Uri Zaidel from Israel, the 20-year-old. Never competed at World Championships either.
And that's one of the beauties of all of the Continental Championships. There are gymnasts that we just haven't seen very much who managed to make their teams come here and have a standout performance. So far, he's won.
We're over on the vault with Iceland and Jonas Thoresen. 34.533 at the halfway mark for him. 20-year-old. He's one of the youngest members of the Icelandic national setup. He competed at the Junior World Championships in Győr in Hungary in 2019.
One thing about vault is it's judged based on 3 phases. The first flight phase, which happens before the hands touch the table. The repulsion phase, which is what happens when the hands touch the table. And the second flight, which is everything that happens afterwards. In the opening phases, there was a distinct leg separation and some leg form, bent legs, slightly unpointed toes that are going to cost him in execution, and indeed they have.
13.666 is the score. Jonas Torresson now will go to a very well-known vaulter, Valgarde Reinhardsson. Eighth in the vault final in Glasgow in 2018. It's a really very nice thing to see Valgarde Reinhardsson vaulting well at the European Championships. He broke his right tibia, tore 2 ankle ligaments on vault at the European Championships in 2021.
This is a Kasamatsu with a full twist. Just as you say, Ollie, how nice to see him come out and do a clean, stylish vault like that after such a difficult injury.
And as a result, he has chosen not to attempt qualification for the vault final. A wise move when he is in this rehabilitation phase of his career. Did win a silver medal on vault at the Nordic Championships, though. Very well done. Where, as we mentioned earlier, he won the floor title. But a nice moment for him, vaulting in the way that he expected himself to. 13.233. The score for Rudi Seidel. A lot of young gymnasts amongst all of the veterans, people like Mate Nemkovic. .033, that score just a moment ago for Valgarde Reinhardsson. Well executed. The leader, David Huddleston of Bulgaria, Olympian from Tokyo, a Bulgarian-American who started his gymnastics journey, would you believe, in the Caribbean in 2008. Going to continue as well as he started. Let's hope so for David Huddleston. Big routine, this.
Cast into a Yamawaki to begin. One-arm giant bends his elbows coming over the top. That will be an execution deduction of probably 0.3 of a point. Lovely amplitude on the Kachev.
And he does well to avoid falling backwards there, David Huddleston. Nonetheless, big deduction for a very pronounced step back, well beyond shoulder width on the landing, but he's having a good day at work.
He's such an aesthetically clean gymnast that when he does have an error, it actually looks more flagrant than perhaps it is. Beautiful amplitude on the Yamawaki as well as on the Kachev. Just straight as a pencil, going over the top. And that is exactly what's desired. Dismount, double twisting, double layout. and actually finishes it so early that his chest and shoulders are quite high. And so his center of gravity is high as he lands and has to take that step back to control things.
Artem Dolgopiat on the pommel horse. High performer so far in all-around terms.
Oh, and perhaps an error of fatigue. It started well, but he certainly lost his form and his balance on a circle midway through.
It's worth knowing from a team perspective that Alexander Miakinin, after Uri Seidel, matched that score, 13.233. But this will be a counting score because they were intending to only put 3 up on pommel horse Israel.
Well done to him, because there's a lot of difficulty in this routine, and after getting the fall out of the way, he has managed to perform that difficulty.
Did have some moments in the very final quarter of that routine where he was clipping the apparatus and lost some of the tidiness in the legs. Artem Dolgopiat may find his all-round prospects just slightly affected by that.
Every time you clip the apparatus, you can lose up to half a point. So yes, indeed, significant deductions in the routine, unfortunately.
Now it's 12.833 for David Huddleston, the leader in all-around terms so far. Remember, this is the all-around final, not all-around qualification. Everything else is qualifying. But just to complicate it, there are gymnasts in this all-around final who are seeking qualification, and that is to the World Championships. That all made perfect sense, I'm sure. 11.933, the score for Artem Dolgopiat on pommel horse. So more daylight, really, for Huddleston at the top of the all-around standings. It is Jordan Alexandrov next to go for Bulgaria on the horizontal bar.
Clean layout Kacha. Adds a straddle Kacha. Very nice endo skills. Stalder position. A little hop full before his giants into a clean full twisting double layout.
They're making a good case for themselves, aren't they, the gymnasts from Bulgaria in the team qualification process. And one would expect a degree of confidence on this piece from a universities champion in the United States, a man who grew up in California. .633. That is a score of some significance for Bulgaria. He's done well. Moves up the standings, almost level with Dolgopiat, and that's easily the biggest number for Bulgaria on the horizontal bar. We must say a well done to Rayan Radkov, 17-year-old, getting a score of 12.266, a secure routine, the young man for Bulgaria in his senior international debut. We continue this rotation, and it's a chance to see another specialist from Croatia, Tin Surbic, Olympic silver medalist from Tokyo.
And the routine that he is going to show here is different from his Olympic routine. One of the reasons is because there has been a change in the rules. For several years, his calling card was being able to do several Kachev elements in a row, one after another. It was really spectacular, but now the rules have changed, and basically you can do only 3 of one kind of release skill in a routine, provided that 2 of the 3 come in combination. And that has forced him to rethink and recompose this routine slightly.
He actually chose not to go to the World Championships last year in order to just keep patiently training this new routine. Let's hope that it comes to fruition. And there are many of you out there that are huge fans of Tin Surbic. She's a massively popular gymnast worldwide. 2 times a World Championship medalist, 2 times a European Championship medalist, and an Olympic medalist. One of the greats on this piece.
Here we go. Coleman successfully does a giant out of it, so he avoids the deduction for when you don't. However, there was some bending of the elbows. Judges will deduct accordingly. Stalder in, Kachev, that's 1. Lay out Kachev, and in combination, another Kachev. So he has fulfilled his Kachev quota. That, however, is also a big problem because he did not finish in or even near the handstand. He may not get credit for the value of that element.
Something of a case of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other from Tin Surbic of Croatia. Signs that he's still bedding in this exciting new routine.
It was a case of little things. The bending of the elbows as he caught the Coleman, as well as on the giant out of it. Each of those at least 3/10 of a point. All of the big things went pretty well. However, the small things are going to add up.
What's been adding up so far is an impressive score for Ireland throughout this team competition. Ewan McAteer now on the parallel bars. Very good vault from him. Can he keep it going?
Really well done to this young man because he has provided so far some key scores for the Irish team in their bid to make it to the World Championships.
This young dentistry student has proven himself to stand up when others are examining him. He's done well. Ewan McAteer.
And isn't that a lovely moment? He dismounts, he salutes the judges, and he goes right back over to the parallel bars to prep them for his teammate who is next to go. What a wonderful sense of camaraderie and teamwork you get from the Irish team.
It's 13.466 for Tin Surbic. That is the second strongest that we've seen so far, behind Jordan Alexandrov. And for Mesa Surbic and Miakinen, it could be very difficult for them to plot a path into the apparatus final. Of course, we do not know what is to come, but it's a lot to ask when we consider what remains. 12.166 for Ewan McAteer. Just a further word on Tin Surbic. Probably very few gymnasts have had to make as many adjustments as specialists under the new code of points as he has had to make, so we've got to give him some time. Now we're with Daniel Fox, great performer, top 3 in the all-around so far.
Healy turn right to handstand.
Good strength, well recovered.
Giant with a full turn. Stutz. He'll want to have finished that in handstand.
He's proven himself very much back at the elite level though, hasn't he, Daniel Fox?
He has just been so solid, delivering one routine after another, and getting very good scores. This is the only place in this routine where he really gives something away, but as we say quite often, the victory in that is that he didn't make it a huge problem. He's not going to lose a whole lot. Double pike dismount.
There was this very interesting moment in his career. What was it Robert Frost said? 2 roads diverging. He had to choose. The coach said, "You're good enough." And he said, "Well, let me think about it." And a day later said, "One of the trials." There's Richards Plate of Latvia.
The story of his competition so far. Good, clean gymnastics. Yes, he is lacking in some difficulty to be among the top competitors here, but the foundation is right there. He can build on this, and he will.
13.2. Absolutely. He's doing safe gymnastics tidily.
And what great experience to be in an arena like this, in a competition like this, under the lights.
Come on, Dom, you got it.
Now he fulfills his other key duty, Daniel Fox, as cheerleader-in-chief for the rest of the team.
All yours.
Finished as runner-up to the man he's cheering on now at the Irish Championships in May. I mean, even that would have been a triumph, wouldn't it? Coming back and getting second place all around at a national level, but to be where he is now, well done 1,000 times, Daniel Fox. 12.866 for the 26-year-old. He's in 4th place, just behind Jordan Alexandrov. Dom Cunningham is next for Ireland on the parallel bars.
Like Daniel Fox begins with the Healy. Good basket and giant. Well-controlled giant full. And adds a half turn. Really nice that. Stutz. And a double pike.
Some very tidy moments to Dom Cunningham's routine. The Irishman well positioned at the halfway mark of the competition. We're now in rotation 4 of 6.
Very tidy exercise overall for Dom Cunningham. Very nice handstand positions. Good flow to the routine. And really secure. Double pike dismount.
Many of you will remember the injury that he suffered ahead of the European Championships, officially starting in 2019. It was a training injury. So another gymnast about whom we're just so thrilled to see him here and performing in the way that we know Dom Cunningham can. And he's going to finish on floor, where he won the European title at the first Multisport European Championships in Glasgow in 2018. It's 13.233. So he's right up there, just behind Daniel Fox. It's fascinating, isn't it, with the return of Daniel Fox and the arrival of Dominic Cunningham. This Irish team looks a different prospect. Still, it's Huddleston who leads, and look at his gap over Dolgopiat. Huddleston now is the breakaway performer in this first subdivision. He's the one that we're going to keep an eye on as the next subdivision begins. When we look down the order, so the rest of the gymnasts involved in all-around qualification for the World Championships and the all-around final proper at the European Championships. As if there isn't enough going on, we also are looking at team qualification and apparatus qualification too. There will be a written test on all of this at the end of the subdivision. Team update. Bulgaria, who we're looking at now, are leading the way, and they have a mark and a half over Ireland. Ireland are about 3/10 ahead of Israel. Israel are around 7 marks ahead of Iceland. Those are your 4 teams so far.
And Bulgaria goes to floor exercise next. They're currently warming up. They have the potential to score very, very well there, the likes of Dimitar Dimitrov for 1. But all of them really capable and have a good amount of difficulty. Competing with them, though not as a member of their team, Aurel Benovic, a routine of note on floor exercise.
Yes, the silver medalist at the European Championships in 2020. Iceland will now make their way over to the parallel bars. They'll finish on the horizontal bar. They're they're the only team, I should say, that are going in the so-called Olympic order. And we have a lot still to come as the day goes on. Just to give you a sneak peek of the next subdivision, we'll be seeing Belgium, France, Austria, Georgia, Netherlands, Finland, Turkey, Lithuania, Romania, Portugal, Sweden, Norway. So just a few teams to come. And there's another subdivision after that as well. I trust you've cancelled your plans for the whole day, because there's a lot of gymnastics to enjoy. And we're enjoying this individual, Uri Zaidel of Israel, 20-year-old, settling nicely into the competition, proving himself to be a crisp and clean athlete.
In the middle of a real breakout performance for Israel. This may be the first time that we are seeing him on the international stage, but it also may not be the last. He has all of the components to be a very, very good world-class gymnast.
Doesn't he just? How exciting. Uri Zaidel of Israel, a prospect.
In his work, there is strength, there is flexibility, there is polish, and there is a kind of calmness that is really wonderful to see. He has not looked nervous or fazed by being here at the European Championships at all. He's looked right at home, actually.
Young gymnast from Slovakia, Matej Nemkovic, about to compete on the pommel horse. We saw him vaulting right at the start of the competition. He's currently on 47.065 in all-around qualification. Made his senior international debut just this year at the Copa World Challenge Cup. He was top 20 in all of the 4 pieces he entered. Very promising start. He's one of the youngest athletes out there. And indeed, he is the youngest gymnast in this whole subdivision. Second youngest, I should say, after Ran Radkov. But the youngest to be doing the all-around in this subdivision.
Make sure that he gets the signal from the head judge before beginning. We very rarely see it, but if you start your routine before getting that signal, you will get a 0. So it's good just to be sure.
Just starting, wasn't it, to go in terms of the leg form and the power. So often with pommel horse, it's not the moment where the gymnast comes off. You actually look at several seconds before that.
And you can see it coming, indeed. Whenever there's something that throws off the rhythm, it's generally a bad omen for the rest of the routine. We do see some amazing saves, but frankly, on this apparatus where you cannot stop and make an adjustment, it doesn't happen that often.
It's got to be very tough to be the only gymnast from your country to be competing. He's in a very small group, just one other competitor with him, gymnast from Poland. So really, you know, it is quite tricky to be out there, to be alone.
Gymnasts have spoken of that, how being an individual competitor at a team championships can feel particularly isolating.
.13 is the score for Uri Seidel. 8.7 for execution, tidy number.
And he will have time to build up his difficulty. He is so young.
We go to the floor exercise, and standout performer David Huddleston. Oh, now that could change somewhat the all-around picture. He did have a couple of marks lead.
The deduction for that, 1.0, clearly.
And it's not so much who's behind him, it's who might be ahead of him later on that's the key.
Very odd to see the hesitations in handstand on what would be for him a rather elementary skill and a requirement on floor exercise. There again, not getting a lot of bounce out of the 2.5 twist. It didn't have a great deal of amplitude, and so he really had to muscle around the punch front. He's fighting.
Fighting indeed is David Huddleston. That shake of the head as he departs the floor, almost as if to say what happened there, because it was going really well. Lots of execution deductions, regrettably, to be removed from what otherwise would have been a high score.
And he's very capable on floor, as you can see from that, the front double twist into immediate double front, but not his day there.
11.666. Well, he's still in the lead, but there could be a change to things. From Bulgaria's perspective, they will hope they're in a position not to need to use that score. Now we have Denmark vaulting. Opportunity for us to look at Aaron Jacobsen.
Unfortunately, very compressed on the landing of this Kasamatsu with a full twist. His chest very much into the floor, which results in his hands stepping down and under rotation.
12.366 is his score. I will just tell you that before the performance of David Huddleston on floor, Tedor Trifonov scored 13.133 for Bulgaria. So that could be a number of importance in their team prospects. Vali Reinhardsson chalking up the parallel bars. Gymnast going for one of the all-around places. He's been the all-around national champion in Iceland on several occasions. Spent some time training across the waters as well in Nova Scotia at the Halifax Alta Club in Canada. Not a bad club to train at.
Potentially there he benefited from the counsels of David Kikuchi, a two-time Canadian Olympian who trains Ellie Black, one of the very great Canadian gymnasts.
And one of the great all-around performers at multi-sport games as well. So this is the penultimate performance of qualification and this all-around final for Vali Reinhardsson of Iceland.
On der nächsten Corner steht für Island bereits Vali Reinhardsson, Iceland.
52.032 where he currently is on the scoreboard.
Neat little front salmi to begin the routine. Right into a beautiful Healy. You see his left hand move. And once again, walking in the handstand is a deduction on parallel bars. And each time it happens, he'll lose 1/10 of a point.
Iceland's Valgar Reinhardsson.
Does many good things in this routine. Beginning with that little front flip. Most elements straight to the handstand. And a double pike dismount, very clean. Slight under rotation, that occasions the hop forward. And hard to say whether he'll lose 1/10 or 3/10 for that hop, whether it was shoulder height or longer.
Now we go to an important rotation on the floor for Bulgaria. Very important. Their scores so far: Trifonov 13.133, Huddleston 11.666, Dimitar Dimitrov 11.266. So that now asks a lot of Jordan Alexandrov.
Both Huddleston and Dimitrov normally do better than that on floor exercise.
So it is guaranteed that David Huddleston's 11.666 is going to count for Bulgaria's team total. It's about how much they can add to it now with Jordan Alexandrov, the last to go for Bulgaria on floor. Big routine.
Double twisting, double tuck to start. And it seemed that, yes, he did put his heel just out of bounds. So 1/10 of a point penalty. This is known as the mana position. He combines it with a press to handstand. The press, of course, one of the requirements on floor. Whip half to front layout full. That is difficult for him because it's not a particularly difficult pass, and he gives away a significant deduction in execution in landing it. Two and a half twist to end, and once again, his foot going over the line. So, frankly, a rough go for Bulgaria on floor exercise.
I think that's the only way to put it. It hasn't been the rotation that they hoped for, nor the rotation that we probably expected. Evidently, Jordan Alexandrov has got some discomfort he's taking into this routine, as one can see by the protection around his right foot, and it was a tough routine.
It was, from start to finish, really. And hats off to him for fighting through as well as he did. There were some very good passes. This was a full twisting double tuck, and just a slight under rotation that causes him to step forward. That won't be a huge execution deduction, but wow. When you see a limp like that, you know that it was a tough routine.
12.733 on the parallel bars for Valgard Reinhardsson. Yes, of greater concern is seeing Jordan Alexandrov moving like that, going back over to the chair, hobbling most clearly. So for Bulgaria, really now, calmness is the order of the day, because they're going on to pommel horse next, and that's how they will conclude their qualification bid for the team final and for the World Championships. Top 8 go through to the European Championship final. Those 8 qualify for the World Championships, and the next 5 teams, the 5 that miss out most directly on the European Championship final, will have another chance, if you will, at the World Championships. They will qualify a team. And really what's so vital there is qualifying a full complement of gymnasts, being able to take effectively an entire squad with you to the World Championships.
And guaranteed, this was a floor routine that was done in service of his team, as they are attempting to be amongst those top 13 teams, and they really needed this number.
And we have just a matter of moments to wait until the number comes in. He's seen it and he drops his head. 11.633. Poor Bulgaria. They've had a tough one, and they've got to get themselves ready for the last rotation. So for Bulgaria, that means that they are counting 2-11 scores on floor. Now we go to the team chasing them on the horizontal bar, Ireland. Daniel Fox. This now becomes a massive rotation for Ireland.
Well, you said it, Ollie. You want to win your subdivision. And Ireland now has a look in, don't they? Just like we have seen from Daniel Fox all day. Strong work. Front giant, wind up double front with a half out over the high bar. Unique dismount, beautifully executed.
It's a lovely dismount, isn't it? We don't see that sort of dismount a great deal.
No, we don't. This was his release skill, the Yamawaki.
We're going to come back to that because we must watch Aldo Benovic of Croatia on floor, silver medalist at the European Championships in 2020.
Off to a very good start on his opening 2 lines. He is known for his difficulty. In the run-up to the Olympic Games last year, he won a World Cup event, beating Artem Dolgopyet. He said it was about the shock of his life.
He's now won 3 World Cup titles, 7 medals in all.
Oh, and once again, as we've seen a few times today, a surprise on floor exercise with the gymnast sitting down.
Does very well from an almost squat position to come back up.
And once again, a surprise to see him land that way. Normally, he is so concentrated.
A lot of specialists in this first subdivision have found things quite difficult. It could make for an interesting and unexpected picture in some of the apparatus finals.
Absolutely. Things started really well for Benovic on floor exercise. This was just unfortunate. It's not that he's incapable of the skill, just drops out of the air a bit too early, doesn't quite have the best understanding of where he was and couldn't save it. And by the end of the routine, seemed rather distracted by the errors that he made on those 2 middle tumbling passes.
Daniel Fox scores 11.966. So a way to think about that is that's 3/10 up from one of the 2 weaker scores for the Bulgarians. Just to add to the intensity of all of this, Ireland only putting up 3 gymnasts on the horizontal bar, so they don't have the opportunity to discard a score. Ewan McAteer and Dom Cunningham, the others.
Just like we saw from Daniel Fox, clean Yamawaki, that gets his release skill requirement out of the way. He does add a Kachev. The difficulty on horizontal bar, just like on every other event except for vault, built off of the 10 skills, the 10 most difficult skills the gymnasts do. Full twisting double pike dismount.
Another job well done by Ewan McAteer of Ireland. Not by any stretch of the imagination his favoured apparatus, but cleanly through the display.
Yes, indeed. They have been so commendable because the difficulty, as we already saw from Fox, is not particularly high on this apparatus. However, they are fighting for absolutely everything that they can get.
Ireland finish on floor where they have a European champion from 2018. As we look at a European silver medalist from 2020, scored 12.133. He drops his head and he looks inconsolable. And you have to feel for him.
You do. When your difficulty is higher than your execution, it's not the way you want the scores to go.
Yes, 6.2 difficulty, 6.133 execution. As I was about to say, they have a European champion from 2018 in Dom Cunningham and Eamon Montgomery, who's been a World Cup medalist, on the floor to finish Ireland. And consequently, they could be optimistic about that. Bulgaria have to finish on the pommel horse. $12.2 for Ewan McAteer. Now, Dom Cunningham on the horizontal bar for Ireland. He's had a good competition so far.
Smooth layout, Kachev. One more. Takamoto full. Finishes it near handstand. Well done. The same element with just a half twist. Full twisting double layout.
What a fine dismount from Dom Cunningham of Ireland. This Irish team is impressing hugely. Wow, we're in for a fascinating last rotation, aren't we? With Ireland on the floor and Bulgaria on the pommel horse.
With the resources that they have deployed them extremely well. Obviously, there has been analysis of how they could get a really good team score, and they have decided that it's not through difficulty, and quite wisely so. So we are seeing routines, like from Daniel Fox, that have low difficulty but high execution. This provides a welcome shot of both.
We have to remember there are two gymnasts in the Irish team who do only one piece, so it's a lot of pressure on those three all-arounders. They've done very well. Richard Plate on the parallel bars.
There are little hesitations throughout this routine, some walking in handstand, but his technique on his pirouettes is really first class.
He scored 12.566, a young athlete who has said of himself, I understand that I'm getting stronger every day. He's very self-aware of his own journey as an athlete, and that's a very important thing, that metacognitive sense of where you've been, where you are, where you're going. 12.2 the score for Ewan McAteer, just confirming that from earlier. We're now waiting for the number 4, Dom Cunningham. That will be, one suspects, a stronger number from a difficulty standpoint. 13.166 for Dom Cunningham. He's in jubilant form. He's in 4th place in the all-around standings. And he's a fine entertainer. We've got one rotation to come. Time flies when you're having fun. Still in the lead, David Huddleston, but the gap has narrowed. Dominic Cunningham now leads. Huddleston finishes on pommel horse. Cunningham finishes on floor, where he won the European Championship title in Glasgow in 2018. Well done to Vali Reinhardsson. Look at him up in 3rd place. Uri Seidel remains consistent. Daniel Fox still top 5. Jordan Alexandrov just outside of that leading group of gymnasts so far. Ewan McAteer also pushing up a little, and Artem Dolgopiat lower down the standings, as we would expect.
Inquiry rejected for Martin Gudmundsson. Time ist vorbei. Time ist over. Und wir steigen ein am 6.
So we begin this final rotation.
Island, Jonas Torresson am Reck.
Bulgaria on the pommel horse, Ireland on the floor, Israel vaulting. So just very quickly to give you the team picture, Israel now the leading team ahead of Bulgaria by over a mark. Ireland and Bulgaria now very close. This is a great chance for Israel to finish in top spots. Uri Zaidel is the first gymnast to vault.
Provided they stay on their feet, the men of Israel have the potential to record a very nice score here.
Oh, well, that has just added to the pressure to Israel, and they will be putting up only 3 gymnasts on vaults, and consequently all scores will count.
Well, it was provided they stay on their feet. He's quite off to the side as he lands, doesn't get the twist around that he needs to in order to really make it stable, and the result is a fall.
Jonas Torresson of Iceland is now to take to the horizontal bar.
Clean Kachev. And double layout, full out.
He is thrilled with that performance, Jonas Torresson. This Iceland team may be hovering in fourth position, but they're going about things very much the right way, aren't they?
They have just done clean, steady gymnastics, and they should be really pleased with the way that they are developing as a team.
Didn't he dismount beautifully? It was very nice.
Didn't he look delighted afterwards?
Yeah, he's right too. Youngest in the squad today, Jonas Torresson. Massive pommel horse rotation coming up for the Bulgarians. Jordan Alexandrov is first to take to the apparatus. Can they put behind them a tough time on floor? There are those who would say if you're looking to do it, pommel horse is not the place to go. Let's see how they get on.
Second Wort, zweiter Sprung für Gulliver.
Just steadies himself at the end. Jordan Alexandrov of Bulgaria. Hope he's okay, because he was obviously in real discomfort at the end of his floor exercise. 12.5 for Zaidel. And that will be a counting score for Israel. As we look back at Jordan Alexandrov on the pommel horse.
It may not have been the best routine that he performed today, Alexandrov, but hopefully this will help take away some of the sting of the disappointment on floor exercise.
12.133 the score for Jonas Thoresen. Artem Dolgopiat is now going to vault for Israel. That is very much not Kerem Şener. A taste of what is to come as the competition goes on. Oh, they need this. And they do get it. He has landed it and he is hurt. Unfortunately, Artem Dolgopiat, it looked like a very uncomfortable landing, didn't it? He just wrung his body out.
It really did. It was, to the naked eye, a good landing. However, he really seems to have wrenched his shoulder.
And a shoulder that's already heavily taped.
Yes, indeed.
Now we have David Huddleston on the pommel horse as Artem Dolgopiat scores 14.433 for that vault. Big score for Israel.
It's moving smoothly so far, David Huddleston. Very nice clearance over the pommels.
David Huddleston of Bulgaria has got his competition back on track, and he knows it too. That's a very fine pommel horse routine from somebody who's had 5-6 of a very good all-around competition. 11.9, Jordan Alexandrov. Now Israel are really poised, as we look back at this performance from David Huddleston, to win this first subdivision after what they've done on vault. Valgard Reinhardsson will be next to head to the horizontal bar to finish off his campaign. Performing well so far in the all-around competition. I'll give you the all-around standings at the end of this rotation. Now the 25-year-old to the horizontal bar in his final performance in this all-around final.
Already a more complex routine than we have seen from his teammates. Layout Kachev. One more. Combined with a clear hip circle. The Rybalko, full twisting element. Full twisting double layout.
How great to see after what his European Championships were in Basel last year. Well done to Vali Reinhardsson of Iceland. Well done to the Icelandic team at large on a secure competition. And that will pay dividends later on. 13.633 for David Huddleston. Good pommel horse routine, that. Now a chance to look at the youngest member of the Bulgarian team, Ryan Radkov. senior international debutant. He hasn't done every single piece.
Long and complex routine. And a handstand pirouetting dismount.
17 years of age. Well done, the youngster. Look at that reaction from the team on the sidelines. David Huddleston, Jordan Alexandrov et al. Really impressed. Well, that's a useful member of your squad to have ready at a moment's notice.
Showing off one of the reasons why he was selected to complete this Bulgarian squad. No doubt, great promise on this apparatus for the future.
And as well, a certain composure in how he performed that. This is a big occasion. We've got some real specialists coming up on the pommel horse as well in a moment, as the Croatians are going to get their time. 12.333 is the score for Vali Reinhardsson. Just tell you as well that before this, Artem Dolgopiat was due to undertake a second vault. He chose not to. 13.3 for Ryan Radkov, well done. 8.3 execution, nice routine from him, the teenager from Sofia. Israel did score a 14.2 though with Pavel Gulidov on vault, so overall they've put themselves in a great position to win the subdivision. Now, what it means for the first block really of the team qualification process is that Israel lead Bulgaria by just over 3 marks now. Iceland are in third place because Ireland have not yet performed. So it's Ireland now who are chasing Bulgaria and Israel, but Israel and Bulgaria have made that very difficult for Ireland. They have both had good final rotations. This is a taste of what is to come. It's entertaining. And we've just seen a star of Glasgow 2018, Dom Cunningham, just wringing out his arm there, touching his upper arm, his shoulder. Hope all is well for Dom Cunningham, the floor champion of the inaugural European Championships. Hope it's nothing more than just tweaking his arm, his shoulder. So we've got Ireland on the floor exercise, along with 2 Croatian veterans on pommel horse, which we'll update you on, and a young star of Croatian pommel horse gymnastics. Bulgaria now watch and wait to see how Ireland perform. Daniel Fox will be there first up. Very interesting thing to note about Daniel Fox is that although his parents are mother a radiographer and father a physiotherapist, they were professional ballet dancers when they were younger. His father, an American who was a professional with the Cork City Ballet. He grew up around the performing arts and around ballet. He did do ballet when he was younger, I believe.
Starts with a double front in the tuck position. Follows up with a clean front double twist. His clean form, perhaps somewhat imparted by his parents' dance careers, is really evident on this apparatus. Straight legs, pointed toes, and a sense of lightness and effortlessness can help a gymnast get an excellent execution score. Rather questionable whether he made it around in the attempted 2.5 twist dismount. The judges will take a close look at that. They may only credit him a double full, but kudos to him for going for the harder element.
And just kudos to Daniel Fox, full stop on this competition. Living proof that it is not too late to make that comeback. Now, he doesn't have to worry about this. The next gymnast, he's a young man, he's only 20. Those thoughts far from his mind. Mateo Zugec of Croatia. Reigning Mediterranean Games champion on the pommel horse. Silver medalist at the National Championships. That's a tough accomplishment in that country.
Very much someone who represents the next generation of potentially tremendous Croatian pommel horse workers.
And he's still got the previous generation looking over his shoulder waiting to perform as well.
No doubt he grew up watching the likes of Philip Ude, Robert Seligman. His swing resembles theirs.
Well, he has said how utterly thrilled he is just to be here at these championships, to be with those illustrious teammates. And my word, he's set the standard for them, hasn't he? 20-year-old from near the Slovenian-Hungarian border with Croatia in Varazdin. He was fourth at the Junior European Championships in 2020. We've seen this coming.
Excellent extension in his hips throughout all of the skills. And that is something that we see so often, don't we, from Seligman, from Ude. It's a good amount of difficulty in this set as well. When you can contend with the best in Croatia, you can contend with the best in Europe.
It's a little bit like Italy in the steel rings, isn't it? Sometimes just getting out of the country into the national team if you're a rings specialist, as Fox scores 11.666. Same with Croatia, just managing to get into the national team with the wealth of competitors ahead of you. Now it's a fine time to watch apparatus specialists. Right now we have Eamon Montgomery of Ireland on floor. Won his first World Cup medal earlier this year in Baku, a bronze.
Double twisting, double tuck opens this routine. Front layout full to double front, so nearly. That's called a Randy, a front 2.5 twist. Spins like a top. Two and a half to very well done front layout. Front double full to front half. This routine is going to get a nice scoring difficulty. Just the dismount, triple twist.
He's had a good season on the World Cup circuit. He was almost there in that performance. The youngest member of the Irish team, Eamon Montgomery. 13.833 from Matteo Jugetz. Well done to him. Well, just another word quickly on Eamon Montgomery. We talk about people being supported by their family, and it's often said that so many gymnasts benefit from that. He literally benefited from it. His father was a joiner who made equipment for him to train on when he was younger. Now, Robert Seligman of Croatia, 36-year-old European Championship medalist on 2 occasions, including at Glasgow in 2018.
Opening with a Magyar, feet and hips turning in different directions. He's such a veteran, and this routine is so well practiced.
Well, he's rolled back the years once again, hasn't he? Robbie Seligman of Croatia, the reigning national champion. He had a lovely moment this year at the Osijek World Cup where he won gold as the 6th strongest qualifier. It's his hometown. That competition is his own private world championship. It means so much to him to take the title there.
And this is just vintage Robert Seligman on pommel horse. Interior of the routine, always intricate, difficult. He has never done, over the past several years, a dismount that passes through handstand. It is the only place where he doesn't have maximum difficulty on pommel horse.
2008, his first European Championship medal. 10 years later, he went one better, taking a silver in Glasgow. He's twice been a Mediterranean Games silver medalist. Only thing missing from his extraordinary career is to compete at the Olympic Games. 9 World Championships he's competed at. It's a remarkable legacy. 12.833 for Eamon Montgomery, but that routine has got so much potential. 5.8 difficulty score. Now a big routine for Dominic Cunningham of Ireland. He won the European Championship title in Glasgow in 2018 for Great Britain.
Front double pike. And look at the landing. No wobbles, no hesitations, nothing but stick. One and a half to front double full. And once again, he plants those feet and they do not move. A much harder side pass, 2.5 to front layout than we've seen from almost every other competitor in this competition, with the exception of Dolgopiat. Arabian double front with a half twist out. Triple twist.
Dom Cunningham of Ireland completes his first international competition for the new nation that he represents with great pride, and we may well be seeing a lot more of Dom Cunningham under the Irish colours. He has spoken publicly with great courage about how badly he was bullied when he was a child. for daring to be a gymnast, for daring to do an unconventional sport. His strength, his toughness in carrying on when times were very dark, and they've been dark throughout his career as well. He is an absolute role model for perseverance in this sport. As is that gentleman, 13.766 for the 36-year-old Robert Seligman. Now, how about another 36-year-old, Philipp Ude?
The Olympic silver medalist on pommel horse from 2008. And a man who, fueled by passion, by love for this sport, and particularly for this apparatus, has continued on and just had an illustrious career.
So far, he's having a pretty illustrious routine.
At times, he has struggled with inconsistency on pommel horse, but when it is good, it is wonderful.
That reaction on his face afterwards is a joy to behold. Philipp Ude. We've just seen Robert Seligman as that score of 14.333 is in for Philipp Ude. A massive number. 13.966 for Dominic Cunningham on floor. One more Irish gymnast to go, and that is Ewan McAteer.
Two passes with double fronts. Nary a problem in sight. Oh.
How quickly things can change in this sport.
Yes. Clean 2.5 twist to end. What a phenomenal learning experience for this very young gymnast.
And what a phenomenal effort from the Irish team to secure a World Championship berth. The signs are encouraging for what more could come.
This was the problem. Front double full, slightly under-rotated. And his center of gravity is so far back on the front layout, coming out of it. No real chance to save that and keep it on its feet. But you could see the effort, couldn't you, to minimize the deductions as much as he possibly could.
In conversation with Dom Cunningham, veteran floor performer. Looking over the shoulder of Daniel Fox, returner to elite gymnastics. They're a fascinating bunch, the Irish team. Also Rhys and McClenaghan earlier on the pommel horse. And we have that confirmation of the 14.433 to Philipp Ude, the best score we've seen so far on pommel horse. That's outrageous. As I was saying earlier, Robert Seligman, bronze medalist in 2008 at the European Championships. Well, the silver medalist that year was Philipp Ude, who then won a silver medal in 2020. 12-year gap.
The more things change,
the more things stay the same. Yeah, it's fascinating. A wonderful narrative, isn't it? You've got young athletes like him coming through and getting better and better and better. You've got the prospects like Matteo Zugets, for example, and then you've got the older guard going, hang on, we're still here. 12.4 for Ewan McAteer. And they'll all push each other, and that will lead to a stronger men's gymnastics.
And there's room for all of them in this sport.
For teams, for specialists, for all-around gymnasts. It's David Huddleston just ahead of Dominic Cunningham at the end of Subdivision 1. Well done to Dom Cunningham, really pushed his way up. Uri Seidel, terrific performance, and Vali Reinhardsson of Iceland also. These are gymnasts who are aspiring to a World Championship spot by getting one of the 23 all-around places after the teams are removed, the top 13 teams. That is, if their team is not successful in earning a spot. We saw quite a lot of Richard Splatte. He finishes in 9th. Jonas Thorisson, who concluded with that lovely performance on the horizontal bar. He has had a good campaign as well. Bulgarian team, though, the strong performers on pommel horse, but not quite enough to catch up with Israel. So we're looking at the best moments of Team Bulgaria, 2nd place behind Israel. Ireland almost catching Bulgaria. Gap of around half a mark or so between Ireland and Bulgaria. And that is a tremendous display by the Irish team to get so close. As for apparatus qualification, Artem Dolgopiat, the Olympic champion, leading the way, but only just ahead of Dom Cunningham of Ireland. Uri Seidel of Israel in 3rd place. Long way to go, really long way to go. So really looking at the top 3 and where the first signs of daylight are is probably the most meaningful thing to do right now. When I say signs of daylight, I mean where does the gap start to emerge in the scoreboard. Pommel horse, you can see it emerging after 2nd place, Rhys McClenaghan. But Zugets and Seligman certainly are in contention. And well done to David Huddleston as well, 13.633. He's up there with some of those specialists. On the rings, Daniel Fox of Ireland, best performer so far, terrific. Pavel Gulidov in 2nd position, but Fox with a couple of tenths ahead of Gulidov at the top of the standings. Sebastian Gavronsky performed well as well on the still rings. Not many vaulters so far, but it's Ireland leading the way. Dom Cunningham the only 14+ score. Artem Dolgopiat not able to undertake his 2nd vault, seems to have some injury difficulties. To the parallel bars, and David Huddleston with a lovely display, 14.333. Quite a gap ahead of Dolgopiat, quite a gap ahead of Cunningham. So really those top 2 are the most interesting indicators of where we might go in terms of the numbers of the parallel bars competition. And that leaves us just with the horizontal bar, and Jordan Alexandrov of Bulgaria with the 2 specialists there, Tin Serbic and Alexander Myakinin, having some difficulties. Safe to say the horizontal bar, well, it's up for grabs as we go further on in the competition. All of that brings us to the end of this, the first of 3 subdivisions. The next subdivision due to begin in around about an hour's time. Israel leading the team qualification process. Bulgaria 2nd, Ireland 3rd. Remember, these teams are not just going for the final here. They also want to be one of the top 13, not top 8. top 13 that goes to the World Championships. That's determined on the qualification. More to come, and we'll see you a little later for Sub-Division 2.